But they wanna heard about me. I know my mama worried about me. For those who have the nerve to doubt me, I'ma put it to you straight. Your boy doing good, your boy doing great, your boy doing shows going in.
This call is now being recorded.
Hello, I am Matreese Jeter, and I'm here with Al-Yassa. He is a very dynamic businessman, and how are you doing today, Mr. Al-Yassa?
Fantastic, Matreese. Thanks for having me.
Well, great. Well, for those who don't know who you are, can you go ahead and share with us who you are and what is it that you do?
All right. Well, again, my name is Al-Yassa. I am a home-based entrepreneur. I've been doing a home-based business since 1997. While I worked my corporate job, I was in the pharmaceutical industry. I used to make vaccines for a company called Merck. Basically, I made all the shots that the kids need before they go to school. That's what I did. So I did that for 12 plus years. In 2006, I decided that I wanted to, be that hands-on dad, stay at home, do more things with the children, and I made the transition.
Well, fabulous. That's very fabulous. Well, I'll tell you what, being in Philadelphia, now are you from Philadelphia?
No, I'm originally from the D.C., Maryland area.
Oh, okay. Well, being that you live there now, and you know that there's a very large African American community. What do you do to give back to the community and to inspire young entrepreneurs?
All right. Well, one of the things I'm doing right now actually is a tennis program in the inner city. It's through the Arthur Ashe Foundation. I came up playing tennis through Arthur Ashe's program. And for those of you who don't know who Arthur Ashe is, he was the first African American to win the U.S. Open, and he went on to have a very, very successful tennis career. Well, again, I grew up playing tennis in the inner city of Washington, D.C. 1 year, and then the next year I was actually able to work at the tennis camp and, I've been playing tennis. I was around 14 when I was 14 years old, so I've been playing tennis ever since. So what I'm doing this summer, and I've done, for subsequent summers, is my children play tennis, so while they're at camp during the summer, I just stay. I stay the whole day with them, and I just volunteer my time to help with the children there. A lot of these kids, some of them have, learning disabilities. You can tell that they're a little slower developmentally than some of the kids. Right. Some of them are, single-family homes. They come through what's called the Police Athletic League. So the police officers drive them in a van to the site. So they learn some tennis and then other life skills. We talk about different principles, on how to handle and resolve situations. We talk about the life of Arthur Ashe. As a matter of fact, the kids had to do an essay on his life this summer as well. Yeah, this summer as well. And the good thing about it is they're not just learning tennis just to learn it. They're actually going to play other different campgrounds or sites around the city and culminate in a championship. As a matter of fact, my daughter 2 years ago won the essay contest on the life of what Arthur Ashe's life meant to her. And the other year, 2011, she actually was a second place. She lost in the finals as a number 2 tennis player in the city.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. On the other hand, I have spoken at a couple of the high schools in Philadelphia in the rougher neighborhood, South Philadelphia. There's a high school called Bartram. Also West Philly High School. Spoke at those schools before in terms of, just showing the students that you can go on to be whatever you want to be. And that school is a very important part of it. A buddy of mine, he graduated high school and didn't know how to read and write, Can you imagine that? Graduate high school, didn't know how to read and write, but he enrolled himself into Temple University, took the remedial classes, and now he's a successful accountant. So anything's
It
possible.
can definitely be done.
Yep.
That's wonderful. Well, you know, like in our communities, many times we have the mindset that the only way to be successful is through sports or even the entertainment industries. And so what motivated you to choose the route that you chose for success, and do you have a template for others to follow?
What made me choose this route? Well, it was funny. Growing up, you know, I used to tell my mother, "Oh, I can't wait till I work a job. I can't wait till I get my own money." And she used to always tell me, you know, be glad that all you have to do is go to school right now. She said it's not easy getting up 6 o'clock in the morning every single day for somebody else. And I never knew what that meant until my first year of corporate America, you know. And that's when it really hit me. But even before that, while I remember growing up, I was always entrepreneurial. And when I was growing up in the 80s, I remember watching an infomercial on how to buy foreclosed real estate. I mean, I remember just sitting there watching that infomercial late at night. The guy's name was Ed Beckley. He was a real estate investor. He was sitting on his deck in Lake Tahoe, Nevada, overlooking the lake, and I remember, like, I want that lifestyle. That was at the age of maybe 8 or 9. So I used to tape the infomercials to try to make my mother to watch it and all that other kind of stuff. I remember also right now in the newsstands, there's a couple of magazines like Startup Business Magazine and Home Based Business Magazine. Well, I remember back in that same era, the early 80s, getting a magazine called Income Opportunities Magazine. I think it's still out.
Oh, okay.
And I remember flipping through there and looking at all the different things. Like, man, I was like, Ma, you know, we can buy this stuff wholesale and sell it retail, or you know, here's a button making business we can do. You know,
okay.
here's a driveway asphalt business we can do. I mean, I just remember going, like, staring at that magazine, looking at all the opportunities as I was growing up. And later on, my mother did actually end up investing in real estate. And, you know, I got the chance to work with her side by side, you know, cleaning up properties, renting them out, all that stuff. And then went on to college. And while I studied medical technology, which is basically hospital lab work, stuff like that. And I just remember looking at all the different, it's called reagents, all the different little vials and bottles and supplies that we needed to carry out our task. And I remember saying, wow, you know, what if I was one to sell these little, you know, syringes and Band-Aids and glass metal slides, and what if I was one to sell all this stuff to the school and the university and to the hospital, because they got to use this stuff anyway. They use it every single day. They got to place an order. I was like, what if I was the one, to sell this stuff to them? And it was just a question I had. I never pursued it. And I remember one day I had a management class, and our professor, I graduated in 1994 from Howard University. So this was around 93, 94. And I remember it was 1993. And the professor in the management class said, you know, how much do you guys expect to make when you graduate? And I said, what did I say? I said, I want to make no less than $38,000 a year, I think is what I said. Okay. And she looked at me and said, well, maybe with a full and a part-time job. And I was like, wait a second. You know, I did not spend 4 years in college to come out and work full and part-time. That didn't make sense to me.
Right.
You know, so I figured that, you know what, I may have to do something different. I did end up going to corporate America, you know, starting out at maybe $40,000 a year, $42,000 a year, which was okay. You know, I was happy with that. And that was 1994. And then I left in 2006, probably making around $70,000 a year or whatever. But by that time, I had already started a home-based business on the side while I was working at the job, and you know, I was just ready to make the transition. So I know you asked me the second part of that was, do I have a template?
Yeah.
So basically, growing up, you know, I was exposed, I guess, to infomercials and those magazines, and that's why I was bit by the entrepreneurial bug. But in terms of having a template, I don't have a cookie cutter template. I did come up with a 5-step principle that I impart on. I've have clients and stuff in the past. I used to work with small business owners, and the five steps were: number one, you need to acknowledge and handle your personal credit situation. Okay, did you get that?
I got that.
Yep. So number two was to start a business, or if you already have a business, increase the revenues of that business. Number three what was number three? That was I think it was acquiring. I don't have it in front of me. I think number three was acquiring and managing business credit in the name of your business.
Okay.
Stop using a lot of personal credit things. Number four was the accumulation of assets. Okay. That was asset protection, asset allocation and protection is what I called it. That could be buying real estate. It could be, investing in, gold coins, whatever. And then number five was debt elimination and equity acceleration. Okay, so if you bought that real estate property, you probably have a mortgage on it, even though you might be renting it out. You want to quickly, get that mortgage paid down so that all that rent or lease money you're getting from it is all profit. So you want to quickly reduce the debt and increase the equity in the property. So that was my 5-step principle. That I used to impart on my clients, and then I took it from 5 to 7 steps. The 6th step was to become what's called an asset millionaire, which means all the assets you accumulate, add up to over $1 million.
Oh, okay.
And then step 7 would be to become a cash flow millionaire, which means that, all the assets that you have is throwing off and generating enough cash where you're making over $1 million a year. So
Right.
That's that was my philosophy.
Yeah, those are excellent. I'm sure they helped many people. I'm gonna.
Pardon me?
I said those were excellent. I'm sure that they helped several people, many people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, neat. Well, I see that you're involved with several different companies. So tell me this: what do you look for in a business opportunity?
All right, but let me clarify being involved in several companies.
Okay.
I have a main business, a main marketing business. However, I may use tools to run that business a little more effectively, and sometimes the tool might brand itself as an opportunity or a company or what have you, but it's mainly for the tools. So. What do I look for in a company? Number one, stability, because when I started out in the home-based profession, I was with the first company I started with for well over 10 years. So I wasn't the type of person that would jump from this to that and this to that. I stuck with them for 10 years, and then I decided that I wanted out. I walked away from it and stayed away from the industry for about a good year and a half or whatever, focused on creating my own products, online and that kind of thing, and then jumped back into the industry, once I, saw a company that I really liked. So stability is key. Something that's, going to last, that's been around forever is going to last forever. Quality products, because you want to be able to offer your clients a great value for whatever money they're going to be spending.
Right.
Okay, so that's the name of the game. They're going to have to spend money every single month. That's at least that's what you want in any business. You want a recurring customer in any business.
Right.
When I did small business consulting, my motto is once I get a client, I got a client for life. And to this day, some of these folks are, even though I don't consult anymore, they still are with me in some kind of capacity. Matter of fact, I got a referral the other day. A young lady called me. She has a training company. She trains on how to identify mental health issues.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, I do this for a living, but now I want to start my own company and do it on my own, and I said, okay. And, part of the requirement for her to work with me, in the past I would just take a fee or, she'd pay me monthly. Well, I'm not going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not going to be mysterious about it. When I worked with small business owners, the fee was, I had a six-month coaching program. It was $5,000, so $3,500. I'm sorry, and they were paying probably around $537 a month. Okay, for 6 months. So that was my fee. Then I started working with government contractors, and for them, my fee structure was $1,000 a month. They were locked in for a year, so $12,000 fee. It was broken down $1,000 a month. And I would get a percentage of whatever contract that I helped them acquire on a sliding scale. So, if it was $1 million contract, I'd probably get 5%, something like that.
Right.
The higher it went, my percentage got lower, but it was still a good amount of money. So,
That was a great idea. The way that you went there, that was excellent.
Yeah, and that's how I did it. So anything you do, you want a client that will continually pay for your services, a recurring customer.
Right. Well, that's great. A great nugget there. Well, tell me this: do you think that someone could overextend themselves by just trying to get involved with too many opportunities, or what would be your opinion on that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna lie. I've done that myself. Where I think I can take on everything. Where I look at things. I always look at things strategically. I look at it like, okay, how can I don't say. I'm not going to say I don't say no, because I do. Matter of fact, last week, 5 different opportunities were presented to me. And I don't mean on the level of, hey, just join my company. I mean on the level of, hey, I'm a top guy in the company. I'm working with the founder. I want the founder to meet you, and this is the plan we want to lay out. And I declined because in my gut I didn't feel it, and I'm focused on what I'm doing. But yeah, you can overextend yourself. You can, because you would think that, okay, well, if I just spend an hour on this business, and then an hour on that business, and an hour on that business, that you'll be fine. But what you're really doing, you're dissipating your energy. There is no focus there. And like I said, I've been guilty of that before. So, because whenever I'm presented with something, I always look at it and I always say, how can I take advantage of this? That's always my question. How can I take advantage of this? But if you're great at marketing, you can build anything. If you're great at marketing, which is the key, and you study and the opportunities presented to you, and you study the market segment, and you can set some systems up in place, then yes, you can build several income streams. But for the unskilled person, it is a waste of time, really. It really is, because let's look at it this way. If you have 3 different projects to complete, right? Right. It wouldn't be the wise thing to work on all 3 at the same time, because here's the thing. Let's say each project is going to produce you a $10,000 a month income once it's complete, once it's set up, right? Well, if you have 3 projects and you're working on a little bit each day with all 3, it might take you a year to get them completed. So now, it's a year, and then now your income stream is finally set up. But what if you worked on project A for 3 months straight, or let's just say 6 weeks, 6 weeks straight, to get everything up and running, where it's starting to produce income. So that means at the end of 6 weeks, you have project A producing income for you, right?
Right.
Now you work on project B for another 6 weeks. I mean, total focus, completion. You got, your team in there helping you, whatever you need to do, but you get it up and running to produce income. So now in 12 weeks, you got 2 income streams set up that can potentially produce you $10,000 a month each. Okay?
Okay.
And now you start with project C, another 6 weeks. So now in, 18 weeks, okay, you've got 3 income streams set up producing $10,000 each for a total of $30,000 a month when they're cranking,
Right.
versus going 52 weeks with no income and finally getting them set up, you see. So
Okay.
it's a much better plan to work with one, get it up and running so it's producing income before you start another project. So working multiple opportunities can be the kiss of death for some folks. But for others that have mastered marketing and have different systems in place, whether it's, their own personal board of directors or assistants or what have you to implement things for them, then it can be simple for those folks.
Right. Okay. That probably makes sense, Makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we all heard that multi-level marketing is the best way for the average person to make a substantial amount of money in a not so long period of time also. And so I just wanted to know, do you feel that that's true, and why?
Do I feel that that's true? For some people, even though we're talking about average folks, for some people, I've known people that just could not make a go of network marketing. Because here's the thing. The reason why network marketing can be hard is because it's the first time for some people that they have to face themselves. You have to look in the mirror and you come face to face with all of your shortcomings. You really do.
Right.
See, we're programmed to hide and front. You see, we're programmed to put on airs and not show weaknesses and always have it all together. But when it comes to network marketing, you get exposed really, really quickly. You get exposed for whether you have a thick skin or not. When grandma tells you no, they don't want to be your customer, how are you going to react to that? Are you going to keep going, or are you going to, call it quits? I see many people call it quits because people don't show up to their first meeting, or they just don't like to talk to people, or they feel like my family has never supported me before, they're not going to support me in something like this, and I definitely don't want to go talk to strangers. So for the average person, it can be a great venture for them, but it also can be their worst nightmare. Network marketing is not all roses. It really isn't. You've really got to be ready to face yourself, face your fears. But more importantly, you've got to be ready to face ridicule from other people as well. And let's just say you did make it and you did decide to stay in there and hang in there. You're going to have to face some ugly things inside the industry too. Everybody doesn't have your back. I mean, a lot of times they preach, one team and, we all look out for each other, but really it comes down to every man is for themselves, because everyone has to pay their own household bills and take care of their family, what have you. So a lot of times it's dog eat dog, it's cutthroat. Some of the worst things I've seen in network marketing is so-called upline or big guy or what have you, your team leader or what have you. No, I've seen them do, unethical things inside of the team, whether it's, gathering everybody together, saying, to sponsor a dinner, and then at the end of the night, you've got this team who's struggling and they have to pay the bill for the meal, I've seen things where people have abused power, where they would, they might be dynamic and can attract people to them, and they use that, if you're the male, I've seen it on both sides, where if you're a man, you use that power of attraction you run through a lot of women,
Right.
Whether it's in your organization or not. And I've seen on the other side, where some women use that power as well. So it's a lot of things you got to look out for. You just have to stay true to yourself and your vision and your goals, and not really get so much caught up in the rah-rah of the company or what have you. I'm not saying to ignore all that, because you definitely have to have it in you. You have to feel and believe that that's the vehicle for you. But you also have to be true to your goals, where, if you're with a sinking ship, you just don't ride it out because you say, I'm a loyal person. You have to be loyal to your goals and dreams.
Right. That's really good. Okay. I've been around a little bit and seen some things too, so that's very interesting that you brought some of those things up. Well, I know that you also are a program developer. You seem to come up with a lot of really great creative ideas. I did see a little bit of that debt crushers. I thought that was really interesting, and I would like to know more about that. And I know that you have other products as well. What do you think? Which program that you have created? Which one do you feel has helped the most people?
It was a couple that you probably haven't even seen. One of the earliest projects I came up with, I had to come up with this because I was taking a personal development course, and in the course we had to come up with a project, a community-based project, and we had to grow it so big that we didn't control it anymore. So this project was called Change Your Fate, Financial Awareness Through Edutainment. Okay? So what I did was I started, if you're familiar with Robert Kiyosaki, the guy that wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, well, he came out with a game called the Cash Flow Game, okay? Cash Flow 101. It teaches you how to invest in real. You got it? Okay, great. So you're familiar with it. So I took that game and started having quote-unquote play dates with it. I got together with a group of people in Philadelphia, and I got together with a group of people in D.C. And what we were supposed to do was play the game every weekend or maybe once a month to increase our knowledge on real estate, that kind of thing. Right. So in Philadelphia, it didn't really take off. But in D.C., what happened was we all got together, and by the end of that session of playing the game, we created at that time it was a Yahoo group. We created a Yahoo group, email group, and it was called the DC Cash Flow Game, right? Mm-hmm. So that turned out to be, it grew into a DC real estate investment group, which had over 500 members, and then spun off into two other real estate investment groups. So in total, there was probably between the three of them about a good 1,000 to 1,500 members in those groups, and it spawned the largest real estate investment group in Maryland right now. So that, I would say, impacted the most people, just so in terms of sheer numbers. But yeah, I had to do that. That was part of my the program I was in. So that was Change Your Fate. The other program I had was called, it was a business credit mentoring program. I was helping small business owners get and acquire business credit, for their businesses to grow it. And then after, I had about 30 clients with that, and I was, getting people like $80,000. I got an eye doctor $80,000 to start her practice. I got a former restaurant owner, her and her daughter over, 80 and 30, so it's at $100 and something thousand for their business. I got a contractor about $135,000 for his business. So that's what I was doing. So that impacted them because they were able to get, cash and expand their business. So I had about 30 clients there. And then I grew that into because we were doing, a lot of the clients that I had were interested in investing in real estate. So I parlayed that into another coaching group for commercial real estate development. And that was a closed group of about 15 people. But that 15 people we were able to raise, I was able to raise from, with them close to $500,000 to start a commercial development project here in Philadelphia. So that's that. And then I kind of shifted my philosophy after that, those two programs. And here's why. I saw that even though I was able to get people access to that kind of money, because a lot of them weren't able to increase their revenues, they weren't, if they used the money, if they used the credit lines, it might have been tough for them to pay it back. You see what I mean? So what I had to do, I shifted my philosophy. I was like, you know what? I think the most important thing nowadays is for people to be in a cash position. Right. So that's why I came up with, Project Debt Crusher and the Easy Debt Free Club. So that's why I came up with those two programs.
Okay. Well, why do you think it's so important to have control over your financial future?
Man, because it's funny. I just put up a quote from Proverbs on my Facebook wall today, and it said, "Out of debt, out of danger." Okay,
wow.
So I think that sums it up. Debt can put you in
powerful.
Yeah. I mean, debt. Credit and debt really doesn't have anything to do with money. It has everything to do with your confidence and your ability to make money. If you're making money, you can have debt and pay your bills. But if you're not making money and you have debt, number one, your self-esteem is shot because you're constantly late on things. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're constantly in a state of worry. And I'm only saying this stuff because I'm speaking from me. I can speak from it happening to me. Coming out of college, I was practically debt-free. I left college with like $5,000, started my career in the pharmaceutical industry. But what I noticed was, it took me 3 years to notice this. I wasn't getting ahead financially. Even though I was working, sometimes 70 hours a week, I'd have a nice $1,500 check for a week's work, especially if it was around the holiday. And I'd, put half the check in the bank and half in my pocket, and that wasn't really the way to manage money. And, even though we got raises, the cost of living would increase higher than whatever the raise we got. So you would slowly find yourself getting behind the eight ball, and you look up, and next thing you know, you're $30,000 in debt and didn't know how, whether it's fixing up the house or what have you. So, to be, like I said, having that debt weigh over you, it puts you in a constant state of worry. You're worrying about this, you're worrying about that. How are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? And when I left corporate America in June of 2006, I was doing pretty well. I had some real estate stuff going on. My network marketing business was thriving. And then in 2007, the real estate market changed.
Right.
And, you couldn't get loans. Things weren't selling. It was just horrible. Everything else was being devalued. So I was able to sell some property. I remember on one transaction I made like $60,000. So I took that money, I wiped out my wife's debt, I wiped out most of our debt except for our mortgage. Cars were paid for at the time. And it felt great. It felt great. Matter of fact, I left in June of 2006. By February 2007, so I retired at 34. February 2007, just before my 35th birthday, I had crossed over the millionaire mark.
Oh, wow.
Okay. As an asset millionaire.
Right.
So,
okay.
And that's because of just some properties and, insurances that you have. A lot of people don't know you can use life insurance as a wealth building vehicle. So,
really?
That's what had happened. So it felt great, to not have that. But then I got involved in a huge commercial real estate deal, and it pulled me right back into it. You see? they put me right back into it. So I realized that, you know what, it's best to be in a cash position because cash is king. No matter what's going on, cash is king. If you got cash in your pocket and don't have to rely on a credit card, then you're good.
Right. Makes sense. Makes total sense. Well, 90% of people who start home-based businesses fail. Why do you think that is, and what words of wisdom would you give someone looking to start a business?
Well, I think that is because of the things we talked about earlier. For the first time in folks' life, they come face to face with who they really are. And they come face to face with how people perceive them. You think you have all these friends and you say, hey, I joined this thing, I want you to come, and nobody shows up. You're like, wow, who have I been hanging around with all this time? You see?
Yeah. I can see
so that's why they fail. They don't believe in themselves enough. They don't have enough belief in the person that they're learning from. A lot of times they get involved with a person that, might only be a week or two old in the business themselves. So they don't know much. They don't know anything, and they don't know the protocol or have the wherewithal to say, you know what, I'm going to seek out the top person in this company, whether they're attached to me or not, and I'm going to learn from that person because I'm going to figure this thing out and make it. So that's all I can say about that, I think, because we kind of covered that. In terms of words of wisdom, everybody's going to go their own route and their own path. They have to find themselves some kind of way, whether it's sticking in personal development or really just emptying your mind and being a sponge for what you're being taught. And the faster you can implement what you're being taught, the better. And I truly believe any type of marketing can work to build a network marketing business. I mean, if you blanket enough cars with flyers, somebody's going to call you back.
Right.
And if you taught that to your team and duplicated that, your team's going to have growth. If you pulled out the white pages and called every single person starting from A and just have a simple script, you're going to get some folks that are interested. And if you taught that to your team and duplicated that will work.
Right.
If you call all the business owners in the yellow pages, so anything can work, whether you're building online or so any type of marketing can work if you do it long enough and you have enough people doing it the same way with you. So in terms of words of wisdom, seek out the best possible leader you can for your opportunity. A lot of times you can find leaders that may not be connected, that may not be in your opportunity, but can help you in your opportunity because they have a vast amount of experience. And like I said before, as long as you know how to market, you can build anything.
Okay.
So learning marketing would be the key.
Marketing. Okay. Well, also, if you were to say 3 things or 3 daily must-dos for any business, what would those 3 things be that one needs to do consistently every single day?
Okay. 3 daily must-dos. Number 1, write out what you're going to accomplish the night before you wake up. Okay? So what that means is you have to think about whatever critical income-producing activities for that business, whatever those income-producing activities are, write them down the night before that you're going to accomplish, that on a piece of paper, whatever, and leave it on your desk in front of your computer, whatever, and get to those tasks before you check email or, run to the store, what have you. Okay, so that would be number 1. I'll write down what you're going to do the night before. It doesn't have to be 12 different things. It can just be, 3 to 6 things. The less but more precise, the better. So that would be number 1. Number 2, immerse yourself in your opportunity. Okay? What I mean by that is learn everything there is to learn. I don't mean just spend a bunch of time reading product brochures and learning all that kind of stuff. What I mean is make sure you know enough about the company that you can have an intelligent conversation. I don't mean where you have to stand in front of the room and do a 2-hour presentation all from your memory because you memorize everything, but I mean have enough information that you can point someone to the information, all right? That would be number 2. Number 3 is put things in place so that you are not the go-to person for everybody on your team. If you're spending an hour with each person that's calling you about questions about your opportunity or your company, and these are team members, not new potential clients calling you, but team members, you're going to have a very unproductive day. So it'll be best to either, if you have to do it yourself, then do it, meaning put together small video trainings or something, some kind of training in place, or maybe a short video just to show them where to get the training that's already set up with your company. You see?
Right.
The less you can have them pulling on you, and the faster they become independent, but staying within whatever system you have marked out for them to utilize, the faster you'll grow.
Okay. Well, AlYassa, what are the pros and cons of internet marketing and the pros and cons of network marketing? And if you can explain the differences between the two, that would be great.
Internet marketing, network marketing, I believe they're all the same because you still have to get to people.
Right.
It's just a different method of getting to people, with your message. On the internet, you have to take the time to study your market. You need to know, you have to get into their mind. You have to think about, what makes them tick, what keeps them up at night. Let's say you're selling, to a certain demographic that has diabetes, right? So you need to think about what they think about, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The diabetes can lead to amputations. Diabetes can lead to, are they not enjoying their, the life with their children because they're, they might have a severe case of diabetes and always have to get the insulin shots or what have you,
Right.
They're constantly thinking about how long they're going to live, depending on the severity of the diabetes. You see, so if you can get into their mindset, then you can speak to them with your marketing.
Right.
Your marketing piece might say something like, how to keep your diabetes in check without insulin, without daily insulin shots, so you can enjoy life with your family. You
Right.
see, someone suffering from that will respond to an ad like that, if they were to respond to something like that. So with network marketing, it's the same thing. If you're marketing the same diabetes product, but you're not doing it online, you're doing it offline, you still have to know your market. And you might have family members that have diabetes. So what you'd have to do is talk to them versus saying, hey, join my company because we got this great product that'll help your diabetes. You might want to say, how are you handling your diabetes? What's it keeping you from doing? What was life like before that? What do you think life would be like if you didn't have to deal with that? Well, you know what? I came across something that I think can help you. I think you should check it out. You see, it's the same process, just a different method of getting your message to your market. Now, in terms of the pros and cons, the cons of internet marketing is the fact that it can be pretty expensive. So if you're just starting out, you don't have a budget, you can kind of spin your wheels, because you can get all the leads you want, but if you don't know how to convert those leads, then it's just a waste of time. Okay. So the pros of it, if you can, get yourself a budget right out the gate, and you mastered your market, and you know how many leads you need to make a certain amount of sales, then you can actually accelerate your income and your growth and scale up as fast as possible, and you can actually grow really fast that way. We talked about some of the cons of network marketing, which in terms, again, coming face to face with who you are and how people perceive you and dealing with the self-esteem issues and all that other kind of stuff. The pros, though, is that, yes, if you like that personal development, you can get a great training in personal development through network marketing. You can create a great income for yourself and your family in network marketing. So all that's there in both internet and network marketing. But it's really up to the individual to see what suits them best and how they can make both of them thrive for them.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I know you live in Philly, and I want to know what are the pros and cons of living there. And do you feel network marketing or network marketers, do they tell the truth? And what is the craziest thing that you ever been told coming up in the network marketing industry?
Philadelphia, I'm pros and cons of living here. Cons would be I'm not around, the majority of my family, which is still in the Maryland, D.C. area. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, yeah. So the cons would be I'm not around the majority of my family in the Maryland, D.C. area. But the pros is I like the area. I'm just outside of Philadelphia. I have a very nice school district for the kids. I can get to D.C. when I need to. I'm halfway between, both, New York and D.C. I'm just content living in my small city and, in my space here. So the cons of living in Philly, the cons of living in this area, like I said, just not around a lot of my family. Now, as far as network marketing, do I think that people tell the truth? In any business, you're going to have folks that don't tell you the whole truth. But the thing with network marketing is a lot of people come from a place of lack and scarcity, so they tell you just what you need to hear to get you in. You see, they just want to get you in. They just want to get you,
Right.
So when that happens, of course, it's not going to be a good day for either one of you because you're going to feel like you were cheated, and that person, because they got you in an unethical way, is not going to really feel all that great to help you out or do things. They're going to carry that guilt some kind of way, even subconsciously and not even know it, so they'll do things to sabotage themselves, So some people tell you the truth, some people don't. A lot of the industry is hype and smoke and mirrors. Unfortunately, you don't find that out until you join a company, for the most part. But it's all lessons learned. You can't get mad. You just have to really look at it through a filter of, hey, it's a learning experience, and it's really in how you decide to deal with it that really makes the outcome. I'm trying to think what was the craziest thing. The craziest thing I've heard, network marketing. I don't know if you're talking about from a training aspect or from a leader telling you to do something aspect or
either way, whichever you.
Well, I'll tell you the craziest idea that I've heard for network marketing, and that was a buddy of mine. He a couple of years back, remember when everybody was going crazy about those rims that can spin, the spinners?
Oh yes, the spinners.
All right. Well, when those came out, he called me up all excited because he had found a distributor of those, and he was like, "Look, man, let's start up a network marketing company selling spinners." And I'm like, "Are you crazy?" Oh man, I mean, can you imagine going to your friends and family trying to sell spinners? And
Yeah, that would not be working out. Not for me and my family, anyway.
you know, and how long do spinners last anyway? So anyway, that was the wildest thing I had heard for network marketing.
That was pretty funny. Okay, well, I know that we have a mutual friend named Cory Williams, and I know that you introduced him into the network marketing, and now he has just had his first album. He's now in the music industry, and I just wanted to get your opinion on how do you feel about him branching off to the music industry? Just as the person who brought him into the marketing world.
Yeah, I hate him. I'm jealous. No. I mean, Kareem's a good friend. I mean, you know, he took an idea that I had that I didn't even take seriously, and really created a life around it. I mean, it helped him finance his album, his own. I mean, a self-produced, self-financed album. Because he wanted to do it. You know, it was a dream that he had that it was on the back burner for a while. Right, so he has an album that he is self-producing and putting out there himself. And, you know, I'm happy for him. I really am. I mean, here's a person that all he wanted was a shot. All he wanted was a chance, you know. And the unfortunate thing, let's go back to the cons of network marketing, is because it's such a sometimes face-to-face business, a lot of people judge you just on the surface, you know. I mean, they judge you by how you look, how you talk, everything, and that was unfortunate. It was unfortunate because, I mean, here's a person that had a burning desire, but because people didn't see themselves doing, you know, network marketing or anything like that, or didn't see themselves doing what he wanted to do, what he was approaching them with, you know, they kind of just, hey, you know, shoot them away, pass them off. But, you know, you can't stop heart. You can't stop that burning desire. And right now, like I said, because of this, the internet lifestyle, the internet profession, he was able to now come back and fulfill his dreams, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so that's powerful. I mean, that's powerful when you can have that desire and not let anything get in your way. I mean, not even, you know, me, you know, not even, you know, a friend who might say, hey, you know, slow down, go do this, do that, you know. 'Cause he constantly has people in his ear saying, you know, why are you doing that? You know, what's that going to get you? You know, what? But, hey, you know, I'm in his corner. I tell him, hey, you know, do it. You know, we come from an era where we say big bank takes little bank. So what that means is, you know, you telling me what I should do. Okay, let me see your bank account. Okay, if you're not making more money than me, then I think you need to listen to me instead of me listening to you. and a lot of people don't like that attitude, but you know, that attitude shuts a lot of people up real quick.
I'm sure it does. Well, you know, tell me, what else do you have, or what else do you have going on outside of network marketing, and what do you have coming down the pipeline?
Well, for me right now, it's just, you know, the children, you know, focusing on them, and, you know, school's about to come up again. So, you know, my daughter just got back from Spain for a month. She was over there. She's back now. She's at the tennis courts with me right now. She plays at an advanced level, so we want to get her ready to go back into the fall and play for her school team again. The other kids are thriving in school. And me personally, one of my personal goals is to win some type of USTA, which is the governing body for American tennis, some kind of USTA medal, trophy, or something. Because I don't do anything. I mean, you know, if it wasn't for me being at the tennis courts right now, 95% of my time is spent at home. And it's because I chose that life, because I remember being at work for 70, 80 hours a week, missing my children growing up. You see? You know, so I chose that, hey, you know what? Not to mention, for 10 years being in that other network marketing company, traveling every 3 months, being on the road, doing home meetings, doing presentations, going to trainings during the week, and then not, at the end of the day, not bringing in the kind of income that I thought I would bring in at the time. So, you know, those are memories and times I can't get back. So everything I do now, I base it around, you know, my lifestyle, which is family, for, you know, God first, of course, family, you know, and then business. So everything, you know, takes a backseat to that. So outside of the, you know, just my business and stuff, what's come down the pike for me is just focusing on family, helping families move from a debt to a cash position is my main focus right now. I was just talking to a buddy of mine, and we were setting some things up where we can actually start doing some live events here in Philadelphia and really transform some people's lives. So that's what I want to do. Well, that's not what I want to do. That's what's coming down the pike.
Oh, well, great. That sounds just fabulous. Okay. Well, if somebody wanted to contact you or just learn more about what you do and what you have to offer, where would they contact you? How would they get in touch with you?
Okay. One of the ways would be 2 websites I have. One is called executiveincomeformula.info. So executiveincomeformula.info. That's one I show folks how to, you know, because again, I left corporate America and my whole goal was to maintain that executive type of income, but I just wanted to do it from home. And also the newest project is easydebtfreeclub.com. So that's the letter E, the letter Z, debtfreeclub.com. And, you know, just the usual social media sites, YouTube, Al-Yassa, Al-Mahi, that's all one word. If you Google me, you'll find me. Trust me, if you Google me, you'll find me. Facebook is, you know, fb.com/Al-Yassa. That's ALYASSA. You know, YouTube is the same. Twitter is the same. LinkedIn is the same. So like I said, if you want to find me, Google me. I come up on, you know, all the search results. I'm there. You can contact me that way.
Okay, well, thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time to speak with me today, and thank you for being wide open and honestly spoken, okay? And I'm
absolutely.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying absolutely is a pleasure. I'm sorry. I was just saying absolutely, and it was a pleasure speaking with you as well and everyone else.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Miss Drama think I want the fame. You can tell by my Jesus piece that I'm married to the game. Would I have jumped up on that plane and interviewed with you if I wasn't up on my game? That's the story of my life.